Hello, welcome back. I don't even know how to start. I'm out of practice. I usually have my thing, right? The thing that I say. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you're into true crime, but you like to cut past the fluff, the sensationalism, you found the right place, and I'm glad you did. I think that's how I do it. I'm Gavin. Thanks for being here. Oh, did you guys have a good holiday season? I hope so. My wife and I spent our time back in California, the land from whence we hail, and got to see our parents, our brothers and sisters, every single one of Kimberly's brothers and sisters, a couple of mine, and of course we got to love on all the nieces and nephews. It was a blast. Had a great time. Glad to have done it. I am also glad to be back home here in Western PA in our own home, sleeping in our own bed. Grateful for my folks for putting us up, and we spent a good amount of time with them. It was great. It was great. But boy, do I love my home. Glad to be here. Okay. Yeah, wherever you are, I hope you had a good one. Now, tonight we are circling back around on the case, the murder of Judge Kevin Mullins, 54 years old. He was shot to death on September 19th, 2024. It was done on camera. And the man who done did it was, I'm not going to show the actual deed, but this was the time that Sheriff Mickey Steins, a beloved guy there in, was it Letcher County, Kentucky? Beloved guy. On camera done shot the judge dead. Now, we're not only looking at this case, but all of the other stuff that's happening surrounding the case. And of course, it was, what was it? Was it Law and Crime or News Nation? I think it was News Nation that broke the fact that Judge Mullins may have been involved in some kind of shady stuff. And then later, you guys turned me on to Hillbilly Crime. I got to visit with Elizabeth there at Hillbilly Crime. And boy, did she open things up to us. So today, I think is like the 7th video that we're doing on this case. However, it is the 5th part of the actual audio files. Now, real quick, just to do a shameless plug here, tomorrow night, we are going to be continuing this. Where is my right button? Got to do this one. Tomorrow night, we'll be doing part 6, okay? So tonight, we're going to be listening to an interview that was done with Sheriff's Deputy Ben Fields. He is Mickey Stein's deputy, and yeah, I'll introduce this. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing part 6. Now, on Monday, we're going to be listening to the interview of Jennifer Hill, who has sadly passed away, but she is one of the people that have accused Judge Mullins of being involved in this shady stuff. We'll be doing that on Monday. I don't have it quite set up on YouTube. However, I do have this set up on YouTube on Tuesday, on the 44th anniversary of the day she woke up and found that her mother was missing. And for the last 44 years, she has been looking for her mother and fighting for justice for her mother. She is Allison Diker. Her mom was Lenine Ray Rogers. We're going to be having Allison on. She's going to be visiting with us, talking about her mom's case. So if you have not subscribed to the channel, and those seem like videos that you don't want to miss, please do go ahead and subscribe down there. Only if you think I've earned it, right? Or if you're really into this sort of stuff. But I've been talking with Allison on and off for about a year and a half because she is here. Well, the case is here in Western PA. She doesn't live here in Western PA, but her mom disappeared from Crawford County, Pennsylvania, which is right here on the western border of Pennsylvania and Ohio. Anyway, I've been talking to her for a year and a half, and just feel like this is the time to have her on, and she's so gracious that she's going to be doing it. Okay, So don't miss that. All right. Let's get on over to Judge Mullins. A little background here, okay? This is what happened. Prior to the sheriff taking the judge's life, I don't know if I even say allegedly. I mean, it's on video, right? Allegedly murdered, let's say. He definitely shot him. Prior to the sheriff taking the judge's life, he had a deposition in a lawsuit by two women. First is Sabrina Adkins, and the second is the late Jennifer Hill. And these brave women were incarcerated at one point in the Letcher County Jail, right there in the basement of the Letcher County Courthouse. And while they were released on like home confinement with a GPS monitor, a man named Ben Fields made an arrangement with them for sexual favors so that they didn't have to wear the ankle monitor. Okay. He was ultimately found guilty criminally of this behavior. And then later the ladies filed this lawsuit. Okay. That's where we are. And that all happened in the years leading up to this event where Sheriff Mullins took the life of, Sheriff Stein, took the life of Judge Mullins. Let me start that over, right? These guys were friends. Okay, so what we're listening to tonight is an interview that Ben Fields did with Attorney General's detectives Matt Easter and Shannon Blevins. Now, we have previously listened to several recordings of the detectives talking to Sabrina Adkins. Today's video, they're talking to Ben Fields. Okay? Now, before we really get into this, I haven't listened to the whole thing, and we're only going to listen to about half of it tonight because that's how much time we have for it. And then, the rest of it we'll do tomorrow. I want you to keep in mind that there might be some strategy at play here. I'm not saying that there is or there is not, but I think it's pretty easy to maybe think that the detectives are not trying to really investigate Mr. Fields. But keep in mind that they did bring charges, and he pleaded guilty to those charges. Okay? Just keep that in mind, I guess is what I'm saying. Because in the parts that I have listened to so far, it does seem like they're kind of sidling up to him. Hey, buddy. That kind of thing. Okay? All right. That is the longest intro in the history of intros. Last thing I will say before we get over into this interview is down below you'll see you can use GF to get my attention down here in the, for example, if you put GF, I will see this Happy New Year greeting. Thank you very much. So just put GF if you want to talk to me or want me to see anything that you might want me to comment on. Okay? With that, so I'll bring that up as a reminder. With that, let's go ahead and jump on in. We ready? We ready for this? Here we go. Oh, I have edited this a little bit. There was like a minute and a half of empty space that I got rid of. Other than that, haven't done any editing. Here we go.
Today's date is February 14th, 2022. It is 1:37. Present myself, Detective Easter, Detective Blevins with the Attorney General's office. We'll be going to meet a Ben Fields here in Whitesburg.
And that was the edit right there, guys.
I'll let you sit up front. I don't want you to have to sit in there.
Doing all right, buddy?
Making it.
Yeah, that's about as good as anybody can do nowadays. Like I said, my name's Matt Easter. That's Shannon Blevins.
That's what you.
we'll get this over with. I get out of your hair and I get out of here.
Okay.
Right off the bat, you don't have to talk to me. You're not under arrest, dude. When I leave here, you are not leaving with me unless you tell me you killed somebody and might have to do something. Other than that, I'm heading out of here and you're not, okay? Just want to get some information and just pretty much get your side of the story, man, because every story's got two sides.
Yeah.
So of course, you know, obviously we're talking about the incident here at the courthouse. Could you tell me what you do? What was your title?
Well, I guess I had two. I was court security officer for district court, and then I done the house arrest as a side job.
So as court security, were you a sworn officer?
Yes.
So would you be considered an officer or a deputy?
Deputy, I guess, but the training I took was for court security.
Who swore you in? Was it through the sheriff's office or the
Yes,
city?
sheriff's office.
And you were on the side, you were doing, what was it?
The house arrest.
House arrest. Who's over you at that?
Really nobody. I've got a woman that does the monitoring for me that's let me know when somebody violates and stuff like that.
Who's the woman?
Patty
What's her last name?
Stockham.
Do you know the company's name? What is it?
East.
I'd recommend Patreon because you'll get more out of it. Thank you for asking.
Kentucky Correction Services Incorporated, I believe.
Now, under the court security, were you were paid? Is that a paid job?
Yes.
The house arrest, was that a paid job?
Yes. Yeah, the money I got from it was what people paid for their house arrest.
And who pays you?
The people on house arrest. They pay me.
Explain to me from the get-go. Let's just say,
Okay.
let's say somebody gets out here and gets a DUI.
And they go to jail. They get a house arrest
Because
bond.
I don't understand this.
They get if they have a house arrest bond, then the hookup fee I charged them was $150, and that covered the hookup in the first 7 days. Then it was $85 a week after that.
How much?
Catch that. Let's just catch that, okay? So, and I know that we've talked about this on previous episodes of this, but yeah, the people who leave the jail in order to be on house arrest have to pay for the pleasure of being on house arrest, $85 a week. Costs them $150 to hook up, plus that first week, then it's $85 a week. Okay. Now, also, when they're in jail, they will eventually have to pay for that. That just goes on their bill, right? So he's making money on people going on house arrest, and he's also being paid for court security as a deputy of the sheriff. I don't know if he's getting rich on this, but he's moonlighting for sure. By the way, Mickey Steins did this before Ben Fields. So, yeah, just so you know.
85.
85 a week?
Yep.
So you charge that person that got out of jail that amount?
Yes.
And then what do you do with that money?
Every week I would deposit it into the main company's account.
And then what would happen?
Once a month they would send me a check back of what my portion was.
So they would pay you?
I guess.
I guess.
Long way around.
Did you take some money anytime, like the 85 or the 150, and you just keep that without depositing
No.
it? that's how you did everybody?
Yes.
Have you ever made an arrest before out of the security officer? Did you answer complaints or?
With the sheriff's office,
Yeah.
I would sometimes ride with him in a system.
Have you ever arrested anybody have you ever been arrested anybody outside of the courthouse?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Okay. Just trying to get a mind frame of what you do, because I'm not from this area, and everybody does stuff different. Like up here where I'm from, the monitoring, that doesn't happen. It's not run that way, so I'm kind of clueless. So I'm just trying to get a idea. So these people that get out and they come to you and they're on this monitoring, are you, and like where I'm from, they get a set of conditions, like you can't go to this place or you can't do this. Are you the overseer of that too?
If somebody violated their house arrest, left without permission or anything of that nature, I would be notified, I guess.
Through Patty.
Yes.
But let's say I get out here and I'm on bond and you're monitoring me and I get arrested for DUI. Do you do anything with that, or is that somebody else that does something with that?
Yeah, I would terminate their contract.
Let me pause here for a second, because this is a good question. Is this money considered revenue for the town, or is the sheriff pocketing the money? So I think they probably have a contract with that company. And according to Elizabeth, that company is very small. It's like, I mean, I don't even know. It's very small. So my guess is that the county did get money kicked back from that company as part of their contract with the county. Either that or like a flat fee that the company pays the county, but I doubt that. I think it's probably part of their revenue is shared back to the county, and then part of the revenue seems to be shared with Mr. Fields as a side job, but I don't know how much of it is his. Here we go. Good question, PJ.
Like if somebody was on house arrest, gets caught with a DUI, like you said, and they go to jail, they wouldn't be administratively released because they would be out on bond already. So usually I would just let the judge know, hey, I'm terminating this guy's contract. He's not going to participate on house arrest.
Okay. What happens when you terminate a contract?
They just get removed from the house arrest.
They just get removed?
Yep.
Okay. Old Bird's cat. Is the pause in his responses because he is speaking, or is part of the conversation being edited? So I haven't edited anything. I think that there are some things that they're editing, but I think we'll notice those things. I think those pauses are him thinking what he wants to say. And by the way, those of you who've been around here for a while know, I suggest that you never speak with police. Ever. Without an attorney present. You never speak with police. I don't know why this guy would do that. He is police. He understands how what people say is used against them. I don't know why he would do this, but he is doing it, and I'm thankful that he is. But let's, all of us non-criminals who are smarter than this, never do this.
What does that do to their bond, though? I mean, I don't...
If it's for a situation like you stated, it would just, they'd be jammed in jail, usually on the same bond, a surety with house arrest.
So you're saying when you
bond.
When you break the contract, then they got caught for whatever reason, I guess, you would notify the judge. What judge is that?
It depends
is
on
it
what
district or circuit?
Well, it depends on what court they was on house arrest out of.
What charge? Okay, difference in charge. Okay.
Yeah.
So you did circuit and district both?
Yes.
Okay, so anybody that had house arrest in Letcher County?
Yep.
So now we've notified the judge, and then what happens to the person?
That would be up to the court system.
Up to the court. You didn't do anything. You didn't go out and arrest them or anything.
The only time I would go on arrest is if they actually violated or was currently violating their house arrest, left without permission, and if it showed on their GPS where they was at, then I would try to locate them.
You'd go right then and go get them physically.
I would
then.
attempt to.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's only if they were outside of the area, you would go try to go find them.
Yes.
But if they were getting caught for something else, that was all up to the judge.
Yes. Like if they got permission, let's say, to go to a doctor's appointment, and during that process, like you said, they get picked up for a DUI or something of that nature, once they made it to the jail, I'd terminate their contract, cut their bracelet off, and then their bond would be set by the judge.
No, Donna, I don't.
But did you ever have to go get any kind of paperwork if the judge was not there or anything?
If somebody cut their bracelet off, which is what happened a lot of times, I'd have to go get a warrant for escape.
If they cut their bracelet
If
off?
they cut their bracelet off.
If they didn't, then you would just get them at the jail and take it off?
Yes. Yeah, if they got arrested without cutting their bracelet off, I'd just cut the bracelet off at the jail.
And I don't know how these bracelets work. When you're talking about cutting them off,
They've got a rubber band, I guess, hard plastic band that goes around, and I would cut that actual band.
okay, so let's say I'm ignorant to this, so I'm the guy that gets out, I come meet you, you give me one of those, where do you put that?
On your ankle.
Okay, and once it's secured there, I can't take that off.
You can, but you're going to have to cut it or break it off, which would violate your house arrest.
So once you snap that on, is it snaps or how does it buckles or?
I've actually got one in my truck if you want to see it.
I will wait here in just a second. You'll show me how to do that because I have never seen one. So once you put it on that person, they can't get it off unless they cut it.
Exactly.
Okay. Can't they just, like I said, layman's term here, can't they just turn it off?
No.
How does that work?
Once it's turned on, it's on until the company turns it off, and I have to request it to be turned off. Usually somebody getting off house arrest, I'll go ahead and tell them,
Thank you, PJ.
deactivate this person, they're coming in at this time to be took off.
So I come in there, you put one of those bracelets on. How do you turn that on?
It's got a button on top.
So you hit that button.
Yep.
And they can't turn that button off.
Nope. No, once it's turned on, only the company can. We lease the equipment from I can spell it. I don't know how to pronounce it.
What's that?
ATTENTI, I think.
ATTENTI.
I think so.
Now, do you call that company, the ATT company,
I usually call Patty, and then she'll contact that company,
Okay.
and then they'll deactivate it.
Now, you said usually. Did you call Patty every time, or was somebody else there?
No, that's, unless somebody came into the jail while they're on house arrest, then I would cut the bracelet off first. Then we would contact the company and have it deactivated.
So you can't deactivate it.
I can't, no.
So Patty has to do it.
Yeah, through the company that she leases the equipment from.
Okay.
Can't
So
believe he's
now they've
talking
got
this
it.
much.
If they do everything right, everything's fine. If they get arrested and you find out, then you notify the judge. What if you don't find out? I don't know. Half the people get arrested in my town.
Where their GPS, it will show them out of range past a certain time. So like if you was given permission to go to a doctor's appointment at noon today, you get arrested, you go to jail, at whatever time you're supposed to be home, it would automatically say, hey, this person ain't home.
Okay, but how if I'm around here and I get arrested and I'm in the jail. You would never know that unless somebody told you.
Most often the jail will contact me and say, hey, we got somebody down here with an ankle bracelet
Okay.
on, or whoever the officer is arresting them will contact me.
Did they, like these people, I know like our people, like they'll say, well, you got to check in with John Doe 2 days a week, or you got to meet this person, or that. Do you have anything to do with that?
That was me.
That was you.
They checked in with me on Wednesdays. I would check their bracelet, make sure it was secure and ain't been tampered with, collect their money.
Just Wednesdays?
Yep. Well, I had some that would come in, let's say they didn't get paid on Wednesday, they got paid on Thursday or Friday. They would come in those days.
So Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday?
Yep.
Depending on when they paid you. Or paid the fee, right?
Yeah.
Did they write checks or cash, or how did they pay you?
Usually cash is how they pay. I've had a few that I would accept checks from. But usually I make everybody pay cash, then I drive my receipt out.
Is that, other than when they were supposed to be checking in with you on those days, what was the purpose of them checking in with you?
To pay for their weekly, they have to pay. When they pay on Wednesday, they're paying for that Wednesday to the following Wednesday. They pay in advance, so they pay a week.
My question on this is, where are they getting paid? How are they getting paid on Wednesday? Who's paying them? Do they have a job? Why is it Wednesday? I guess I'm super thick on this. I have no idea why it would be a specific day, but maybe you guys can help me out here.
Advance.
Is that the only reason they would?
Well, different reasons. Check their bracelet, make sure it ain't been tampered with.
Different reasons. Yeah, definitely.
General appearance, make sure they ain't been using any type of drugs.
Did you ever drug test them?
I've drug tested a few, yeah.
Is that part of your job duties to?
The ones I've drug tested has been, because I can't force them to unless part of their condition of bond says for them to take random drug test. I would request it from them. You know, hey, would you mind taking a drug test or something of that nature? So.
Oh my goodness, band.
So, if the courts didn't award it,
That is
tell them that you got to
terrible.
do a drug test, you might monitor
Oh.
the usage.
I would request it.
I can't believe I laughed at that.
And I would tell them you don't have to take the drug test, but I'm going to, you know.
What happens if they don't?
Relay this to the judge that I requested a drug test and you denied it.
What happens if they don't?
I don't think I ever had one not submit to a drug test. I would just tell the judge, let it, you know, then it's up to him.
So if the drug test, let's say they took a drug test, where do you send that? Explain that to me.
It's the dip test. You just, you know,
Instant.
yeah, peel the label off.
Okay, let's say they test positive. What do you do?
I'd contact the judge, let them know who it was, what case it is, and what they've tested for.
Did you, on those times that you meet these, is there a certain place you have to meet them, or can you? How's that?
The hallway of the courthouse. That first
Oh,
hallway.
he's putting himself
Is
in the
that
same
every
spot that
time?
Sabrina's in.
Did you ever meet anybody outside of that?
I met them at the jail before, especially during the lockdown with the COVID because the courthouse was shut down. I'd meet them in the lobby of the jail.
So the hallway or the jail?
Yeah.
Does the sheriff's office provide you a phone or any way to communicate with these people? Or
No.
how do you communicate with them?
My personal cell phone.
Any other means of communication?
No. I mean, Facebook Messenger, text messages, phone calls, stuff of that nature.
It'll be on Tuesday. Thanks, Pat.
So some different people for different things, or
Yeah, some people don't have cellular service at their residence, so they would message me on Facebook or call me on Facebook.
how did you become doing the monitoring? I'm gonna say monitoring. How did you get to do that?
Well, the person who used to do it was is the sheriff. He done it before he ran and became sheriff, so he didn't want to do it no more. So I took that job over also when I started with the sheriff's office.
How long have you been started with the sheriff's office?
2019, January 6th.
When did you start the monitoring company?
Same time. Sometime. It might have been about the middle of December. Between the middle of December and the 1st of January, I think.
Which one did you start first? Do you remember?
Good catch, Mooney.
I would say technically the house arrest part of it. I think I was doing about the middle of December. During the transition, I, had to take all the stuff to be hired on at the sheriff's office, and that didn't become official until the January when the new sheriff took over.
So the company just gives you how many of these monitor ankle bracelets? So you just
I'll call them and say I need 5 bracelets ordered. They'll send me 5 more, and then if I end up with too many not in use, I mail them back to them, and then when I need more, they send me more back.
who do you do that?
Yeah, let me pause this for a second. Oh, you guys are cracking me up in the live chat. Is Fields incarcerated now? No, Mr. Fields, former Deputy Fields, for assaulting 2 women, served a grand total of 6 months in jail. 6 months. Plus 5-year probation, 1 year unsupervised probation. The guy got off real easy. And so no, he's not incarcerated now.
Patty usually coordinates all that. I'll just tell her, hey, order me 10 boxes.
As far as the monitoring company, do you ever deal with anybody other than Patty?
Usually not. I don't.
Do you remember anybody else that you might?
No.
How about the sheriff's office, like the bailiff? I know where I'm from, there's a bailiff bunch, and they actually have like a captain that's over them. Who's over you as a bailiff?
I guess it'd just be the sheriff.
Sure.
Yeah, we just have 2 court security officers at the courthouse.
Did you go to any kind of training for
Yes.
this? Where'd you go?
I went to Richmond.
Went to academy?
Yep, it was a 2-week academy for court security.
How about training for the monitoring?
No.
No.
Other than just being, told how to put the bracelet on. How to activate it, that stuff.
Hey, Courtney.
Did you ever sign any kind of policy or procedures for the sheriff's office?
Yes.
Dude, why is he answering these questions? You know what? Maybe some of you are wondering, what does this have to do with Judge Mullins at all? Okay? And I don't think that I answer that, because we're talking about the death, the murder, the shooting of Judge Mullins, right? And what does any of this have to do with Judge Mullins? Well, what happened was Ben Fields was accused of essaying these women in the judge's chambers. And one of the accusations is that there is a video, and she names the owner of the video or the steward of the video by name and says that there are lots of higher-ups doing these to women in the jail, including Judge Mullins. That's why this has to do with him. It is just a crazy and just a crazy amount of corruption out there in Letcher County.
How about the monitoring company?
Not that I can think of.
So the only times that you would go get an escape warrant would be if somebody left their designated area.
Yes. Cut the band off, left the designated area.
Because if I get arrested, that you'll just go to the courts, right?
Yes.
Have you ever got an escape warrant on somebody that may have got arrested instead of going to the judge?
Yeah. So, Natalia, this recording is from February 14th of 2022. The judge was shot September 19th, 2024. But this is evidence that is used in the civil lawsuit that Sheriff Steins was deposed in. It's like this giant criminal enterprise, this just corrupt criminal enterprise that is happening at the highest levels of Letcher County, Kentucky.
No, usually if they got arrested, they was allowed to be out. That's why they got...
So no time did you ever get an escape warrant on anybody that violated their bond conditions because of an arrest or any other bond condition?
No.
So the escape charge was for violating the bond condition of where you're not supposed to leave or you're supposed to be here or there. I'm trying to understand how that works.
The escape would be leaving without permission for something other than, if we have somebody, we've had them before, go from their residence to the ER at the hospital. I'm not going to charge that person with escape.
I understand that.
But if they left their residence at 2 o'clock in the morning and went 5 miles down the road to their buddy's house for a while and then came back, that would be an escape.
Okay, so do you have like a computer system you get on and log on and watch these monitors, or how does that work? How does that system work?
Patty watches I guess she gets alerts of who violates.
So does the court tell you where they can go, or Patty?
They tell me usually.
And then how does Patty know?
I will tell Patty.
Okay, so I'm now out on bond. You've got that on my leg. You've turned the power on. The court has said, all right, Matt, you can only go here, there, or there. Then they're notified you of that. The court.
They call Patty for...
Who calls Patty?
The person on house arrest, the participant.
Okay.
If they have a doctor's appointment, if they have a court date, if they want to meet with their attorney, they call Patty directly. They tell her, because that stuff we have to let them do. We can't deny them doctor's appointments, court dates, stuff of that nature. If they are given work release, they have to call Patty with their schedule.
Okay. But as far as where they're supposed to be once they get out, you call Patty and tell them, all right, this person, according to the court, they can't be, here's what they have to be.
Usually the way we done it was they have to stay at home other than court dates and doctor's appointments unless they request work release. The judge has to approve that.
So these people, once I get out, I'm supposed to be at the house. I'm not supposed to be going anywhere unless
You give him prior permission.
Hospital, doctor, or prior permission?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if they're giving some type of work release.
Now, can I call, since I'm checking in with you on Wednesday and Thursday, do I check in with you at any other time for anything?
I've had them call me when they haven't been able to get up with Patty. About, hey, I've got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I ain't been able to get up with Patty. I just want to let you know. And then I would also forward that message to Patty.
Okay. So.
Okay, this is a great question. There's another one in here too. Is there evidence the judge and Steins were both also involved in receiving favors? So there's only the allegations so far that I've seen that Judge Mullins was involved in receiving the favors. Now, this question, which is, how did the person come to view the video and does it still exist? Didn't the judge know he was being filmed? So the way it was described in the interview was that she saw it on a VHS cassette. And at the time, there would be no cameras like mounted in the judge's chambers, nothing like permanently installed. So yeah, I would imagine he knew he was being filmed. It was probably a big video camera. And I don't know if Mickey Steins was part of it or not. The only allegation is that it was Kevin Mullins, the judge, and Ben Fields, the deputy, that were involved that I know about. Great questions.
I'm out. If I need to go to Hazard, to Walmart up there, because I can't find some here, I have to call Patty or you.
Yes.
What most of the time does that happen? Does they call Patty most of the time, or do they call you?
I would say they probably contact Patty 65% of the time.
Keep in mind that this investigator knows the answer to all these questions. He's already talked with Shannon Atkins multiple times, right? He knows the answers to these questions. Why Mr. Fields is even talking is beyond me. I can't believe he's doing this.
75.
So let's say the other percent of the time they call you. What do you do? What do you tell them?
It depends on what it's for. You know, if it's something legit,
sorry, I'm yawning here, guys.
I'll tell them they, keep trying to get up with Patty. I'll also send her a message about it.
Can you give them permission to go to those places? If you think let's say it's a birthday, you got a man that's got a kid. I need to go get him a bicycle. Whitesburg Walmart doesn't have one. Perry up there does. Can I go up there and get that bike? Can you give me that permission to do that?
I guess I could. Usually I tell Patty, regardless. And if she says, I don't think we should, then I'll go with her call. So.
So now if I call and let's say you can't get a hold of Patty, or let's say, but you can give them permission, and if Patty calls you and says, hey, this person's been to Perry, you can say, no, I sent them.
Yes.
And that makes it all right?
Yes.
What happens if somebody comes and they don't have that fee? Who gets notified then? What happens?
It depends. If they come in on Wednesday and say, hey, I ain't got the money till Friday, I tell them you can send it back up by somewhere on Friday, you can come back up here Friday. That happens a lot. Usually I'll let them buy with 1 week. I'll tell them, if you can't pay this week, you're going to have to pay double next week, or you have to go back to jail. You have to turn yourself back in.
So you can kind of waive that fee?
Yes.
Does Patty ever call and say, where's the payment? How does that work?
She'll call and say, this guy's a week behind. Be like, yep, he has to pay, he said he'll pay you up in full next week.
Mel, you just asked my favorite question ever. Yes, we do know why all these different accents exist. I would suggest a book to you. It's one of my favorite reads. It is called The Mother Tongue by Bill Bryson. It is a great read, and it talks about how languages divide into dialects and creoles and pidgins, and how those different dialects, creoles, and pidgins morph and evolve. It's really a terrific read. There will be a chapter in there that will talk specifically about Kentucky and might even talk about Letcher County, Kentucky. It is that granular. But the general thing that happens, I mean, if you think that accents are weird here, in the little teeny tiny country of, let's just say, part of the UK, let's just say England, in just that teeny tiny England, actually, it's worse than that. Just the teeny tiny London, there are thousands of different accents. It's crazy. So yeah, check out The Mother Tongue by Bill Bryson. It is a terrific read. I highly recommend it.
So,
can you ever waive it and say, hey, let this person, their mother just died, they've got a funeral expense, I'm just going to waive these fees for the next 2 weeks. Can you do that?
No, I don't think I can do that. I've been stuck before where I've let somebody not pay 1 week and then the following week they get off house arrest. And I've had to pay it out of my pocket because it has to be paid.
You got any other questions about procedure? Anything? All right. I want to try to talk to you here. I want you to listen.
Mate, just one thing. You said you made the deposits to the company account, Ben?
Yes.
Where do you do that at?
At the bank, right across the street, Community Trust.
Here in Blacksburg?
Yeah.
Sorry, Matt.
So I want you to listen to me really good. Okay? These are two cops here talking. Well, if you can count 3. If you count that. So I can understand a lot, man. I've been in your shoes.
No, they know it all.
And two of the things, and I'm a lot older than you, so that's kind of pitiful, but I am. So I've been in your shoes. I know where you've been. I know circumstances you've been in. So, and a lot of times there's a problem and then there's a cover-up. And the cover-up, it ends up being the problem, not the original problem. We don't want that, because I've done this investigation, and by that I'll give you some stuff, man. I'll just be straight with you. Man, I've pulled Facebook records. I've got search warrants on Facebook. Man, I've pulled phone tolls. I've done all this. So I've got all these messages. I've got it, okay? I know what's happened. I understand what's happened. That's the key. I want you to really understand that. I get that. I've been a cop and know what it's like. You're out late at night, man, you run these roads. I get it. But don't let the cover-up be worse than the mistake, because if you do that, then I can't understand. I can't explain to you how much that really means, because you're in a situation, where I'm sure the world's going around, but there's just a problem. Don't make it a huge problem. And you got to understand, man, everybody makes mistakes. That's why there's erasers on pencils. I've made mistakes as cops. Man, I
He's used that line so many times in his career.
I've done similar stuff, and I'm like, man. But I've always come straight, and that's always prevailed, and I've come over it. I've had these banks that I've had to climb up because I've done some that I probably shouldn't have. But I've always been honest about it, and I've always got to that top, and then it's leveled back out again. And then, knowing me, I'd create another bank. I'm good for that. I'll just be straight with you. I'm a guy that likes to create banks. For whatever reason it is, I seem to create a lot of banks in my career. And so far, I've been able to climb those banks and sort of just wave the barrage of the bad. But once I've done, I've been honest, and I've got to the top. So I really want you to think about that. And there's two things here we have to look at.
Dropping the bomb. Here it comes.
And I'll just be straight. There's consensual sex and there's sexual assault. And those are two different things. You understand that, don't you?
Hey, first of all, I have to pause it there because I don't think that Detective Easter or Detective Blevins in that moment thinks that there's a difference when there's a power imbalance, like a jailer and a jailee, right? I don't think he believes that for a second, but I think he's using his strategy is to make it so that Mr. Fields will admit that there were sexual relations that he had between himself and people in the jail. That's what I think. But you guys tell me what you think in the comments, because he's going to go down this road for a second. Okay, here we go.
Forcibly holding somebody down is a sexual assault to a female, man. I can't understand that. I just can't. But I can tell you right now, I don't think that's what happened. I don't believe that. You came here. 98% of the people are good in this world. The other 2 aren't. You're 98 that came here to talk to me, to tell me your side of the story. Just looking at you, and I've talked to community members here, man. You're well liked, you're well respected. I don't think you're that 2% that would sexually assault somebody. I really don't. But I don't know that unless you tell me everything. Because if not, then I don't know your side of the story. If it's consensual sex, I can understand that. I can't understand sexual assault. Do you understand what I'm saying? So tell me about your relationship. I know it's hard, buddy. I know it is.
I think that was an edit right there. I did not do the edit, but I think he's saying, tell me about your relationships between Sabrina Atkins and Jennifer Hill. That's what I think. That you can tell that there was a cut there, but I didn't make that cut. I think it was redacted out.
Yeah.
But you got to understand, it's cop to cop,
Okay. So it started out, I don't know the dates.
I can't believe you talk about this.
She's on house arrest. She's wanting to check into a rehab. She ain't got nobody that can pay for the house arrest. So I pretty much tell her, if you go and check into the rehab, I'm going to have your bracelet deactivated. You don't have to pay, and stay there. The court wouldn't take her off the house arrest. I really felt sorry for her. She didn't have nobody. I wanted to see her go to rehab and do better. She went. She stayed 2 or 3 weeks. Then she left. She told me she was going to get back into another one. A couple weeks later, she went to the other rehab. Checked back in. I'm not sure how long she stayed that time. I don't think it was nearly as long as the first time. At that point, it just kind of, it was in a situation I couldn't just put her back on house arrest. As far as reactivating her without going through all the process. I knew I messed up when I deactivated her without the court's permission. There was a lot of messages, flirting, inappropriate conversations. That's it.
So he's not admitting to actual relations. He's saying, oh, you've seen the Facebook messages. Okay, yeah, there was a lot of flirting. That's it. Just a lot of flirting. Oh my goodness. And LAW, yeah, he is dumb. So dumb. Real quick. And I know that we've gotten on a tangent on accents. I love Southern accents. This Kentucky accent's cool. I like it. But Lee says that I have no accent and such a pleasant voice. Thank you for saying that, Lee. And then I think Becca said, no, he definitely has an accent to me. If you read the mother tongue, which you got to read, I mean, it's a dry read. And it takes forever. It really is more of an academic paper than it is, a book. It is a ponderous tome, they say, right? So I was born in Utah, and moved to California when I was 8. And when I moved to California, I was made fun of for my accent. And in the mother tongue, there is an entire section devoted to the pidgin that I grew up speaking, specific to where I grew up, like down to the valley that I lived in. It was like that. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, so I moved to California, people were making fun of my accent. I was self-conscious. I made a huge effort to not sound the way I sounded. And I definitely have an accent for sure, but I tried really hard to make it where is that? What is the word? I tried to make it not local. Tried to make it more generic. Now, when I was in the UK this last time we were talking about accents, I was talking about accents with my buddy Cherry from Crimepedia, and she said that my accent is the posh American accent, which I just laughed at. I just laughed and laughed at. Anyway, okay, tell me to stop because we're talking about accents. We shouldn't be doing that. All right, here we go. He's being stupid. He's admitting to part of it, but he's not saying that he did the rest of it. I think they're going to get there. Here we go.
Did you ever have sex with her?
No, I never had sex with her.
Let me explain this to you again.
Okay.
There is a difference in sexual assault and consensual sex between two adults. We have done our research. We've pulled your Facebook. We have multiple witnesses. There's a lot that you don't know that's went on behind the scenes. Okay? And I know it's hard to sit there and say I made a mistake, or it's hard to admit something like that. I get it. It's been hard for me to admit some stuff that I've done. But unless I have the truth, I have to leave here thinking sexual assault, not consensual sex, because I'm hearing one side of a story, which, let me tell you, on that side of the story, there's a lot of evidence that will show something happened. I don't think you're the guy that would sexually assault somebody. I think you're the guy that was late at night. You had some flirtations going on. It's hard, man. I'm a guy. I'm not foolish. I'm not sitting there judging you. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. What I'm trying to get you to do is not dig yourself a hole. When consensual sex is something totally different than sexual assault of a girl, man. That's totally different. But you know, if I'm just hearing one side, well, I've got to have both sides, you know.
That's right on him. Exactly.
And I don't want you to go down this road of nothing happened.
That Jake break in the back is,
you know, because something happened. I know it happened. But I don't think you sexually assaulted her. I really don't. But, you know, if you're not truthful with me, then how can I say, man, he was truthful with me. He said consensual sex. You know, he didn't sexually assault her. I can't say that on your behalf if you say nothing happened. You know, I just need the truth. Did you all have a sexual relationship? I know it's hard, dude. I know it is. But I'm telling you, that bank is steep right now, but once you get to the top, it will level off. I've been in your shoes where I've climbed banks that's worse than that. And truthfully, you can ask Shannon, I'm constantly getting in them. I'm one of these guys that I mean well, I'm doing good, and just I get carried away and do stuff that, you know, it is what it is. But I always be truthful and get to that bank, because if not, then how does anybody know what's my side of the story? I can't sit there and say, hey, Ben said it was consensual sex. He didn't sexually assault her. How do I know that unless I've got something backing you? And that's why I came to you, man. We didn't have to come to you, but I talked to the people in this community, and they say, man, he's a good guy. Go talk to him. And you know, when I called you just a minute ago, you said you'll meet, that showed me that you really wanted to do good and get past this. And that's why I'm here. I know it's hard, but I've got to know the truth. And you know, like I said, I'm just us talking. So, you know, was there a sexual relationship? Was it consensual?
Should we pause it there? Should we pause it there, or should we wait? Should that be our cliffhanger? Oh no, guys, I'm the worst. No, let's listen for like another minute. Here we go. What's he gonna say? Always thinking.
It's all right, buddy. It really is. This isn't the end of.
You can talk to me, buddy. It's all right. Just talk to me. Just don't tell me that it wasn't consensual. Just talk to me, buddy. We can get over that bank.
The world. I promise you this. This is probably a problem to you that
It's
you
the
know.
worst part.
But I can
right
tell
here.
you, if
As soon as you say it's going to be better.
every problem, every wave has a peak, and then there's a backside, and then it levels back up.
Oh, here we go.
Every time.
Come
I've been
on,
doing
buddy.
this for over 20 years. How many waves do you think I've rode? I'm a bigger fool than you are. The only difference is, no, oh no. Trust me, man. Would I tell you that if I'm not? I am. The only difference is I've learned and had some good people that's always helped me saying, man, you got to own it. Dude, you did it, you got to own it. And I have, and it's worked out.
Come on, buddy.
But you can't just not tell the truth. It won't work when there's two sides to a story. Like I said, dude, you've got a sexual assault side. Did some girl get raped? Did some girl get thrown around? Or was this consensual sex? Which one is it? It's not a question of whether you did or you didn't. I know what happened.
We know you
Wouldn't
did.
be here if it did. The question is, was it a sexual assault that I can't understand, or was it consensual sex? Dude, you wouldn't be here if I didn't think it was one. But I can't tell you to tell.
Okay, Ben, I'm talking to you from the future, Ben. I know that this is going to do you no good right now. The only good answer to that question is lawyer. I want a lawyer. That's the only proper answer to that question. Guys, that's where we're going to keep it, man. That's where we're going to keep it. I want to know. I'm not going to listen though. I want this is terrible. I want to know how he's going to answer that question, but I'm not going to. We're going to listen to it together tomorrow. We're at 40 minutes and 4 seconds. We got 34 minutes to go. Oh, Ben. Oh, Ben. Ben. It's a good Natalie. Sorry. No. Oh, that is so funny. Yes, that's what we're going to do. That is what we're going to do. You guys, that is what we're going to do. You guys are so funny. Yeah, I promise I won't listen to it either. We know exactly where it is. We're going to get back here tomorrow, okay? Back here tomorrow for part 6. Back here tomorrow for part 6. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. I can't wait to listen to it. I'm just out of time for the night. I'm overtime. Remember that on Tuesday, man, we're going to have Allison Diker talk about the disappearance of her mother 44 years ago. She believes that her father took her mother's life, which is a difficult reality to live in and is one that she has really she's done it gracefully. It's I was introduced to Allison. I won't get too personal here, but I was introduced to Allison by friends of mine who are older than both of us and who remember her watching her play volleyball in high school with their daughter. She has an amazing story, overcoming so much, and she's working hard to find her mother's. Well, she knows who her mother's killer is. She's working hard to close this case. So join me on Tuesday. On Monday, we're going to be doing this very case again, the Judge Mullins case. We got one more recording to listen to beyond Mr. Fields' interview, which is going to be good. So I hope that you guys subscribe. Hey, remember, I've got Crime Cod up on the screen. Remember that on the website, we have, if you click on any of these stories, that will take you over to the full-fledged true crime website. My buddy Jake is working really hard to get really, really good content for all of us. So check out Crime Cod while you're there. Go ahead and click on the newsletter and sign up. We've got a lot of people. I think we're about 1,400 people now that are subscribed to Crime Cod. So please head on over there and subscribe if you want. It's free. I don't sell your information. I don't spam you. I send out something every week or two, something like that. It's not that much, not that big of a deal. Also, while you're on the site, head on over to the cases that I cover. You will find like voluminous libraries of files. For example, the Jalea Davis file is huge, guys. Check it out. All these photos, crime scene photos. I don't know if I'd call them crime scene photos. The death scene photos. I've got so much on here, including documents and so forth. So, and I do that for every case that I cover. So if you've never been to my website, check it out. There is so much over there. Also, if you click on the Support Me tab, scroll all the way to the bottom and buy Autumn a coffee. If you feel up to it. And, it's up to you. But Autumn does this voluntarily along with all of my mods, and she leads the team. So click on that button, buy Autumn a coffee. Okay, guys, we'll see you back tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, to finish out this interview. Okay, with that, I bid you adieu. Thank you very much for being here. It's good to be back with you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.